What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terrence?
Good old humor.
Good old humor, man.
Yeah.
How's your week been, man, Terrence?
Pretty busy, crazy week. There's a lot of buzz in the air, a lot of different things that people are talking about.
Like what? What's the most buzzy thing you've heard?
I mean, obviously the Coldplay concert. I think it's causing rifts in our society right now. For various reasons. I think we spent a good 5-6 minutes the last time talking about Coldplay.
Yeah.
And now, I would like to officially announce that even with eligibility to attend the Coldplay concert, I will not be attending the Coldplay concert.
Even with eligibility?
As in, I have tickets. I had tickets. I had access to tickets.
So you're a privileged Coldplay fan?
Yes, I'm a privileged Coldplay fan.
But you don't want to go?
I'm not going, yeah.
Why?
I just had a bit of PTSD from the U2 concert that you and I both went to. In the sense that it was so hyped up and we were so excited about it and we queued and we got tickets and I was like, wow, this is fucking awesome. It's going to be great. And by the end of the concert, I was sitting at the corner of the National Stadium, just waiting for it to end. I couldn't wait for it to finish so I could go home and everything. And then I just remembered, I have been to a U2 Coldplay concert before. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But it was also at a point of time when I enjoyed being in mosh pits. And it was a point in time when when Coldplay was playing, some of my favorite songs from their whole repertoire, right? Then I look at their more recent songs, BTS, Chainsmokers, and all that, and just never really connected with me. So if I'm going, it's really just for a retro act, right? And trying to capture that lightning in the bottle that happened 10 years ago.
But do you know their set list for this?
I don't know. No, they're going to play Fix You. They're going to play The Scientist. It'll be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I figured, there are a lot of people who want to watch the concert, including my friends.
You scalping on Carousel, is it?
No. So I don't know say I gave, but I basically am not going. And a friend I know who really wanted to go, couldn't get tickets, is going.
And you never mark up the price or anything?
It wasn't under my... basically, I had access to the ticket, but I just said, no, I won't go.
I see.
Plus the fact, being a dad, someone has to take care of the kids, right? When a parent goes to a concert. So if everyone I know is going, who's going to take care of the kid?
I see.
But similar to the presidential race, I am announcing that I'm not going to a Coldplay concert.
But are you going for Taylor Swift?
No, I'm not. Yeah. I would rather go for Taylor Swift than Coldplay because I've never been to a Taylor Swift
I've never
concert.
been also.
Yeah. You're excited about Taylor Swift?
I don't know. My wife is.
She is so.
But I think the thing about getting excited for concerts done by singers that I'm not super fans of, I went for Bruno Mars. Because a few years ago, I went for Foo Fighters, I went for Coldplay, and I remember me and my friend were walking up, we were like, fuck, man, it's awesome. Any concert that comes, we go. We have Bruno Mars, and I hated it. It was like 1 hour concert.
Yeah.
It was just so short, and I'm not the biggest fan of Bruno Mars, so I don't know. I don't know about Taylor Swift yet.
Yeah. I won't deny there was that day of FOMOing going on in my head that I was like, am I really missing out?
But then when you found out got 6 shows, got less FOMO?
No, because actually I was quite happy that they were doing 6 shows.
Is it?
Residency. Yeah.
And all sold out already, right?
All sold out. And,
all sold out.
There's a lot of discussion about should it be sold only to Singaporeans.
No, Singaporeans get priority.
So I'm not kidding.
Strife.
Yeah, I'm not kidding out. It's causing tears in the fabric of our society.
No, and I tell you, I'm sure strategically, right, Singapore, you know how they always want to be a hub for something, right? Now they want to be a hub for concerts.
Yes.
They're going to bring all these big ass stars, piss off the rest of Southeast Asia by saying, okay, you host your concerts here, we will bring in everyone from around the region.
Yeah.
If I was another country, I'd be like, yo, man, Malaysia also, they're not going, right?
Yeah. So Taylor Swift is, there are rumors swirling around, leaks that there will be more dates.
Because there was 3 dates and then they say potentially 3 more dates. Fuck, then every week is
we need to activate some committee of inquiry about this thing. Can you all just do 6 days and then don't do this 3 day plus 3 teasing?
They want to tease but
so how are you feeling? Have you gotten over that feeling less special?
No, I just feel like if every singer comes to Southeast Asia, they only come to Singapore, they do 6 shows.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just feels a little more then it becomes I do feel it cheapens it a bit. But I think that's me being just selfish because what you said, it's not one person going to 6 concerts.
Yeah.
Everyone's still going only once only. So I'm just being a NIMBY fuck.
Yeah. No, and I just did a bit of self-reflection. If I go I won't enjoy the newer songs, right? Because they never connected with me. And I'll be just trying to recapture that lightning in the bottle that was me like 15 years ago at a Coldplay concert.
Yeah, which is nice, why? You visit your old self.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think I'll be disappointed because firstly, acoustics in the stadium, I've never felt
it's
that
awesome.
they were great.
Dude, I tell you right, I'm going to fucking rub it in your face so much, right? Every minute I'll be sending you a video, I'm like, hey, Terrence, look at this. Terrence, look at this. Terrence, look at this. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. No, I'm totally okay with it. Because I had that moment when I watched the Coldplay concert already. So I said, okay, let other people who haven't done it.
Don't give me this benevolent shit, lah. Okay, don't give me this.
You've been to a Coldplay concert?
Yeah, I went to the one in Singapore.
So if it's not as
awesome.
good, if it's not as good this time, will you be very, very disappointed?
I will.
You will, right? Yeah.
I will.
So I'm actually afraid that will happen to me. That my memory of Coldplay will be like, wasn't that great? Like how U2 concert was, basically.
That's like saying, don't get yourself out of the comfort zone for fear of being disappointed, Terrence.
Correct. Yeah. And it's also like, let's say you see an X or something, then you like, maybe we should like meet up again.
40,000 people, dude.
Rekindle that,
that's
but
a
like,
horrible excuse. You don't go to concert, then don't leave your house, Terrence.
No, of course. No, some. That's why when they come for like one day, once, like when John Mayer came, I remember that was like first time in like 20 years, So when I went to the concert, it felt really special, really something.
So that is part of the whole 6 days thing, right? You come, it's just a little peak, you go there, wow, it's damn special, everything's captured. I can imagine Coldplay, human nature, you got 6 shows. After a while, it becomes like a routine,
Yeah. But the National Stadium, I mean, all this, our sports hub, as a venue does concern me, the acoustics. Concern me. You've been there for concerts, right?
It was awesome. I mean, I'm not like some
but you were drunk also,
of course.
You're drunk,
No, I was at the good level.
Okay.
The good level.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was quite good. I was surprised. Coldplay was awesome. Foo Fighters was awesome. Get emotional. All.
So I really thought about it, and aside from that, like being the nicest person on earth and being benevolent, I think for me it was just like that disappointment really would bug me a lot, so I don't want to have to deal with it.
Terrence, but it's like you could be like fucking have a great night, no? Doesn't that entice you?
Okay, like one of 6.
No, never mind. Maybe 2 months down the road, you'll be like, I would like to announce that the friend I gave the tickets to, I have rescinded my offer, and I will be going to the Coldplay concert. Okay,
I won't deny. I told the people who bought tickets, if that friend somehow for some reason is not able to make it, don't sell it, I will go. so that to me, that's the threshold, that's the threshold.
You're just saving yourself, saving yourself.
But everyone's talking about it. It's like, I think friends and families are quarreling about the Coldplay tickets, about allocation of tickets, and like, if I go, I won't be able to sit with you. Then what happens? Because I think a lot of people couldn't get side by side tickets.
Then you get standing, Okay, but standing then the price and all
that's one thing. Beyond a certain age, standing also a bit tougher, and then people then Singaporeans are angry that so many foreigners are getting it. Singaporeans are angry that Edwin Tong was the one announcing the Taylor Swift concert for some reason. Because I think now the basically Sports Hub is under Singapore government management.
Oh, so Edwin Tong announced it
on his Facebook, apparently. And then there were leaks about UOB card holders getting exclusive pre-sale for Taylor Swift. So like, what the fuck is going on, man? When we just went from 3 years of no concerts in COVID, and now it's like a fucking shit show.
It's a winner takes all, winner takes all.
Yeah. And our internet, even Malaysian or Indonesian officials all commenting about the Coldplay concerts and all.
What is it? Even Jokowi said something, right?
They said that, you see, the infrastructure in Singapore, maybe we need to examine how we can do it such that it's easier to get permits to perform. Malaysia was like, it tells you something that we couldn't get them to, can't get artists to come and perform in Malaysia compared to Singapore. So, causing international diplomatic rifts also. Fucking Chris Martin.
Singing a song fix you, you come and break up us.
He come to fix you, and spoiler alert, he's going to swing that ball around, right? He has this big ball that descends on the roof and he swings around. Yeah, but just doing that fucking causes like international problems for us already.
Well, it is ultimate first world problems as the countries,
Correct, yeah.
Coldplay and Taylor Swift causing rifts amongst countries.
Yeah, that's right. But I mean, but then again, if you're really a big fan, I think it's I can understand why it's such a big deal.
I hope it's good. I hope it's good.
And I also heard recently that actually someone did some studies and all that. And Coldplay actually hasn't increased their ticket prices by very much, since like 10 years ago or something. So there's a general belief that they are trying to keep prices at an affordable level for as many people to experience as possible.
Because this one, the lowest tier was 68, which I don't think is a common thing for for artists who are that big.
$68. So I also couldn't believe that there was a $68 option.
But that's why they could sell out 200,000 tickets.
Correct. Maybe they should just take over NDP, come during August and just 6 days of Coldplay.
I tell you, if Coldplay performs at NDP, this year Coldplay, the halftime show and all, there's Coldplay until, I don't know, man, maybe that's what Edwin Tong is working on.
That's right, yeah. Exactly like what you're saying. Big international sports events with big halftime shows that can rival the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
How crazy would that be? Right?
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So yes, that's what everyone's talking about. The buzz.
That was not one of our topics. We did consider it, but it has now become like a subtopic.
Maybe we'll revisit it every couple of weeks to talk about whether you've gotten over the
FOMO thing,
the feeling of exclusivity. Yeah.
I think no choice. I have to accept.
Yeah. But
cool, man. Yes.
Before we jump into the actual topics that are much more serious, but also have to do with big events in Singapore and all.
Yeah.
What do we want to plug?
Just to tell our listeners or our viewers, since we are now putting out a lot more video content, if you're watching this, if you have found this to be beneficial in any way, emotionally, factually, it'd be great if you can share it with at least one other person, just to introduce them to the show. There's so many podcasts coming out in Singapore, but thankfully we continue to grow, and it's thanks to people like you guys.
Yeah, and make sure to like and subscribe.
And subscribe, yes. Yeah. Back to the YouTube days. Subscribe, comment.
Yeah, love missing that. Make sure you like the page and subscribe
and comment.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Awesome.
Okay, so the first topic is a developing story. And chances are you would have heard some chatter about it, about what's been going on. It's a global thing that's gripped the world.
Yeah.
It is the case of the missing Titanic exploration submarine.
Right.
I think now we're into the 4th day. And as we record now, on the morning of Thursday, 22nd June at about 11:40 a.m., they have less than 12 hours of air left.
I think, according to reports, 7 to 8 hours left.
7 to 8 hours left.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a developing story. It's tragic. But what made you want to talk about this whole thing?
I mean, it's shaping up to be either a story of immense, one of the greatest rescues of all time, or it could go down as one of the greatest tragedies not greatest but one of the most riveting kind of tragedies that everyone's following, because there's literally a ticking clock going on, right?
Yeah.
96 hours of air for them and all. But on the other side, there are also a lot of questions that are being asked right now about the founder of the company running the submersible, Ocean Gate. The founder of the company, and what kind of safety measures they have in place, because there are old videos of the so-called technology that they use inside the submersible are coming up. Videos not even old, like videos from last year, and people are questioning, how is it possible that some of these things are even are even allowed, right? Whether it's regulatory authorities allowing them to go down in that state and things like that. So I think that's what is interesting here, that discussion about whether there were any lapses in the safety, but also also examining our own culture. Why is everyone so obsessed with this whole thing? Right?
Yeah, so I mean, just for context, I mean, it's for tourists. It's not a research mission, right? Yeah. It's for tourists. The submersible is 22 feet in length. It doesn't use GPS, because how it's deployed, from what I understand, is that there's a launch pad on the surface.
Yes.
And then it just descends from there.
And there's a ship on the launch. A ship brings it to a location that's close enough. Yeah. And then it just descends from there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it takes directions from there. So it doesn't have its own GPS.
Yeah, and it has no motors on board or anything. It's just it doesn't have its own engine on board, so to speak.
Yeah, correct. And it doesn't move fast. It moves at about 3.5 miles per hour.
Yeah.
It can go down to depths of about 13,000 feet. Right now, the Titanic is at about 12,000 plus feet.
Yeah.
It can support, for 5 people on board, 70 to 96 hours of life support, which means air, I don't think that includes water, but just mainly air.
Yeah.
And they can take 5 people, 1 pilot, and 4 crew.
Yeah.
And it's not a comfortable seating position also. You know, you have to alternate. It's by no means comfortable. It's only 22 feet in length, 9 feet in height, and 8 feet in width. And this is including the fucking thick-ass carbon fiber walls.
For context, I think just looking at it, it looks like you're sitting at the back of a lorry. Like, you know those lorry that you see in Singapore roads? It's like sitting at the back of one of those lorries. Like, you can't stand up.
Yeah, you can't stand up.
You just got to sit and sort of crouch there.
Yeah, and there's one bathroom. And like the thing is, it's completely dark beyond a certain depth in the ocean.
Yeah.
So at 12,500 feet, it's completely dark. There's nothing. Yeah. And from what I've read, also, they might turn off the lights and all just to save energy as it descends. And then the heating is very minimal. Apparently, from some expert, he said there's no carbon dioxide scrubbers to remove carbon dioxide from the air. So generally, a very base, like a basic kind of infrastructure.
Yes.
So now there's a whole rescue mission looking for it, both underwater and above. My first thought was like, hey, but if it's going towards the Titanic, why don't you just go towards the Titanic and search there?
Yeah.
But because the Titanic itself is like a few hundred miles off the coast, and they lost contact with it an hour and 45 minutes after it launched.
Yeah.
So it could be anywhere along there.
Correct.
And it's also deep. And to bring up something that is 20,000 pounds, you also need a certain type of equipment.
Yeah.
So then the other thing about it is because it's tourists, there are 5 people on board, one of whom is the founder and CEO, and he's the pilot.
Yeah.
And then the other 4 are tourists who paid $250,000 per seat.
3 of them for sure. One of them, another one is a so-called explorer as well. I think he has been to the Titanic before.
Yes. He's the owner of the RMS Titanic, right?
Yeah.
Which is the only company that has the rights to salvage artifacts from the Titanic.
Correct. That's right.
Yeah, he's been down quite a few times.
Yeah.
So he didn't. You mean he's part of the mission?
Yeah, as in I don't know whether he had to pay $250,000 for that, or
I see.
or he's like an expert that's brought along to be a guide or something.
Yeah. So the 5 people, there's a CEO, there's that guy, there's a British billionaire, there's a Pakistani billionaire, and his 19-year-old son.
Don't know whether Pakistani is a billionaire, but he's a businessman.
Businessman.
Who lives in the UK.
Very, very rich.
Yeah.
So, this thing interesting because I saw some people on Twitter saying that is it too early to point out the ironic nature of this whole incident?
Where's the irony?
In the sense that the Titanic was this supposedly indestructible ship that had a lot of rich people that sunk.
Yeah.
And here is a vehicle that has rich people inside that is going to explore the Titanic that is supposedly indestructible that now faces the potential of sinking.
Yeah.
So that's why even when we were talking about this, we're like, it's still developing. By the time this comes out, there might be updates. Right now, there are 30-minute interval metal noises being detected.
I mean, they don't know. There are noises. There are noises that seem to be coming at 30-minute intervals, but they don't even know if that's like someone knocking on the hull or anything.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just one of those things. Because the last time there was something like this that gripped the world was the cave rescue, right?
Yes, the Thai cave rescue.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And that one was just like a bunch of kids, after soccer practice. This one, the fact that it's just rich people, I think it's tainting the discussion a bit. And that's why I'm like, it's still a tragedy. So that's why I don't know. I'm grappling with it.
Yeah, and I think the plus the nature of what they were doing, right?
Yeah.
Paying a lot of money to essentially go down to the depths. Basically, it's a graveyard for a lot of people. A lot of people died on Titanic. To go and look at as part of a tourist expedition, right? Compared to the boys, I think the boys were also doing caving. They were part of a group doing caving, but it wasn't like by any means like a rich person's hobby or anything like. They just got caught in the storm. So again, quite different kinds of contexts. But for you, like, I had deja vu when this whole thing was happening because obviously I've been following it. It's quite riveting. So I would, look for updates before I went to sleep, like last night or the night before. And then I wake up and then I'll check, any news updates as well. Then it reminded me of that time when you were doing your Subaru challenge.
Hey, you bring it up. You bring it up.
No, in the sense
it's not me. It's not me.
Yes.
Okay? Anyone listening is not me. Okay.
Yeah, one of the two things that Harish puts in his CV, Coffee Meets Bagel bio.
What's the other thing?
Subaru challenge and jumping into Taka Fountain.
Oh yeah, correct. The two things that define me.
The two things that always come up in conversations the first time you meet people.
Yeah.
But it was like the kind of thing where I was like, oh, okay, his hand is on the car right now. He's standing right there. And then I go to sleep and I wake up and then I'm like, oh wait, Harish is still standing in the same spot with his hand on the car. And I don't know what the past 8 hours have meant for him, but let's see if there are any updates. And then you go, and then so it was like literally that kind of thing where something's happening for 80 hours, 48, 96 hour kind of thing, right? Yeah. So it's only this time period that people are going to be watching so closely. So it gave me a bit of deja vu of that. Although of course, your Subaru challenge thing is you just basically trying to fulfill some strange desire and
some unfulfilled.
I mean, in some ways, you could say that of this mission as well, right? Like basically people wanting to go and visit this historic graveyard.
Yeah.
And getting stuck there and things like that. But yours you could quit anytime. You could step out anytime.
Could quit.
So it's about your willpower. But this one is they're stuck.
They're stuck there. I mean, also, like, at first I was like, wow, I wasn't sure what the submersible was. I knew it was a tourist submarine, but it has also come out that apparently there were safety measures that may have been compromised. Because the company itself, Ocean Gate, which was started in 2009, and if you look at the website, it offers crewed submersibles for charter and scientific exploration. So their company, I think they offer all these things for scientific research, and this is just like one arm of it that uses the same submersibles for tourists to go down. It's like what you're seeing in space and all. In fact, one of the person on board, he also went up into space with Jeff Bezos.
The billionaire, right?
Yeah, the billionaire. So this one, apparently there was an engineer in 2020 who highlighted certain measures that were compromised. Yeah. And he was fired.
Yeah, I think he pointed out that I think one of the windows or something was not rated for a depth of 4,000 meters. It was only rated for 1,003. And I think he either brought that up to management or what and was fired.
Yeah.
And he sued them, right?
Yeah, because these tours have been going on for a while. In fact, this year also they've done a few.
Yeah.
But apparently over the past few years, there have been a few missions that have been cancelled because of technical issues.
Yeah.
And it's not saying like you're going to watch a movie or a concert got technical issues or MRT breakdown, right?
Yeah.
The thing about submarines, even if you're on a plane, technically, okay, for the more less disastrous ones, you can land at a different airport. So when you go down, it's fucking scary,
Yeah.
So, but then at the same time, it's like anyone who signs up, you are aware of the risk.
Yeah.
Because then it becomes this whole thing, is it wrong for the company to offer these sort of tours?
Yeah.
Some of the CEO is going in.
Correct, yeah. He put his money where his mouth is.
Yeah. Although you see pictures of them using the Nintendo controller for navigation or something.
A Logitech, like a generic wireless gamepad.
Yeah. So then it becomes like, of course it's a tragedy, but in some way when you sign up for this, I think the billionaire himself, the RMS guy who has made multiple trips to the Titanic, he has said before, if you go in, you know that if something goes wrong, you're not coming back.
Yeah.
So they are aware of the risk. Right? And then I was thinking for people who climb Everest, even for people who go to another country and rent a scooter, you are taking that risk. If something goes wrong, you are partly responsible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people who are saying now that, these billionaires, they paid the money, they took the risk. But look at these rescue efforts that have to be put out there to rescue them when shit happens. It's multinational. It's not only below surface, above the surface. They're scanning. They're flying planes scanning. So it's like, sure, you can say that, I'm just taking a risk. It's my own choice to do it. I sign a waiver. But when shit happens, suddenly everyone has to go out and look for you. And then they're like, and like what you were saying, people are saying there's a little bit more tainted because it's billionaires. Like, if it was just regular people, would the same resources be deployed? Of course, we don't know, that's speculation. But the truth is there is a lot of effort and money and all that being spent to try and find this one submersible.
That is true. Because it's a lot of the Coast Guards and basically the national organizations. I don't think, I mean, you can imagine Laura not being privatized also, right?
Yeah. And even the French now have sent some submarine robot and all that to go and find help out.
So then why is it different for the kids in the cave? That one also, there was a global effort. There were a lot of resources that were sent.
People flew out and everything. And and there were, now the Netflix shows about it and things like that. Why was that different? In some ways, it wasn't their choice, right, to get stuck there. I mean, it was their choice to go caving, yes. They went, but that was part of like school expedition, or going, like adult-led expedition, right? They would think that it's safe, and typically it would be safe. But the freak conditions at the time really got them trapped there. So it wasn't their fault that happened, that nature happened. Like, like in the, to paraphrase Lee Kuan Yew, like freak freak occurrence of nature, right? So that one, I think everyone's like, okay, let's do our best to save them. Mother Nature has dealt them.
But suddenly this one, maybe like a blue whale hit it on the way down.
Correct. But the question is, why are you on the way down, right? Why are you all the way down there and everything? And there's really if this shit happens to you, there's a lot of risk involved in going down to those depths, and anyone who goes even recreational diving, right? At 40 meters already, so much shit can happen to you. The pressure, your equipment failing, all that, and you always sign waivers when you go. And if shit happens to you, it's just what it is, right? There's not much you can really do or blame anyone for.
No, but actually, that thing, because I saw some people make the analogy, but it's a big stretch, but they said, like for the economy crisis and all, where it was a lot of these banks and all that fucked up. Ultimately, it was the governments that bailed them out, Isn't this the same thing? Which I mean, it's but it does make you think, like what you said, for these 5 people, of course you can't put out rescue efforts. Right? But at the same time, there's a lot of resources being spent on this for a choice that people made, not out of research or anything. It's their own choice.
But in some ways, that's what you want your whatever, your Navy or your government services to do, right? That if any citizen, regardless of how much they earn or how much they've paid taxes or evade taxes, whatever, any citizen or anybody, if under your care, in the vicinity of your country, get in trouble, you want these services to activate and come out and help, right? So in some sense, regardless of who they are, billionaires or not, all that, isn't that what you want to see, that your SAF or your Air Force or whatever steps forward and they are capable of doing this? Because there is the element as well that if not, then you spend all their money on the equipment. Singapore spend how much of its budget on defense and everything? Spend all that money to just do NDP every year, man? No, right? You want it to be activated to do actual things.
I don't think kids wake up saying, I want to be sign on in the military to do NDP every year.
Exactly, yeah.
Actually, I mean, that's true, because let's say there is someone living in their house in Singapore and they want to organize a barbecue. And the barbecue says you can only put 12 sausages at one time. But they're like, fuck it, I want to put 40 sausages. And it starts a fire. And the SCDF goes,
let's go.
It'll be wrong for the SCDF to be, fuck you, okay? You put 12 sausages, you put 40 sausages. This is your choice, it's your problem.
You died in the fire, I don't care.
That's why you are using national resources for a choice you made. You won't say that. Even you go play soccer also.
Correct,
You go play soccer if you're just driving on the road and you have an accident and national resources get pulled in. You can't say, hey, fuck you, it was your choice. Too bad, you suffer.
So even if it's just one life, right, you would want to do whatever you can. And it's like the collective insurance that you pay, right, as when you pay taxes and you're a citizen of a nation. That's collectively what you want your armed forces to be able to help you do. So that's where I'm like, when I see those arguments about, they took the, but I'm like, if it's your son, in there, would you not want them to go and do their best to rescue them? Which is what I think they are doing a lot of. They're really okay, we'll do everything we can for this, whatever, 96, 100 hours, whatever. And after that, we will talk to the families and really plan what the course of action. But until that 100 hours is up, we'll do everything we can, which I think is admirable, right?
Which has to be the case, because the moment it becomes subjective, that even if there's a 0.00001% chance of saving them, you need to try,
Correct.
So I think it's just unfortunately tainted by these rich people, which is the sad reality, because if they were not that rich, or if it was a mission that maybe cost like $500 to go down, I'm sure people's sentiments will be different.
Correct.
Which is, it's like, let's say at a concert, right? If it's a concert, like private concert, $500,000 in a hot air balloon for 12 people, I think people will be like, hey, fuck you, you chose that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, going to a Coldplay concert, there is a cost.
Yes.
There is a risk.
Yes.
It's just more accessible, and that suddenly becomes more okay because it's more accessible to everyone.
Correct, yeah. I think the maybe the one thing that people are pointing out is that maybe there needs to be a bit more regulation on companies that are taking people's money to bring them to under deep sea submersibles like this, because I think the CBS reporter who went to visit he actually sat in the submersible, and he was the one that was in the interview that found out that they use a gamepad to control things and all. He also pointed out that that's what you saw in the clips, right? But outside of the clips, the submersible itself was set up using NASA technology, NASA consultants. So a lot of money and effort was spent to make it as safe a submersible as possible. And all the other components are meant to be off the shelf in a way that such that they this is what he said. I think I'm paraphrasing, but he said it's such that it doesn't compromise the rest of the structure. Whether if the light spoil, is because you just change out the batteries rather than have to go and figure out the whole battery inside the whole submersible and everything, right? So his point was that there were a lot of safety measures that were taken, in terms of making the submersible as safe a tube as possible to go 12,000 feet underwater. But at the same time, apparently there's a lot of different legislation depending on which part of the world your company is registered and where you're going underwater and things like that. But for this, it's a bit of a gray area because, it's tourists, right? So it's not like it's rich tourists, right, who can afford these things. So it's not a lot of people who go underwater for these. And so are they subject to a lot of regulatory oversight? I don't think so, because it's only a handful of people, right? And you think about lawmakers, would they really go out and make laws for such a small group of people? But if you think about it, if a company is promising that it can bring you to 12,000 feet and then it causes things where two countries have to come together and help rescue you and all that, then it's worth thinking about, okay, what kind of regulation need to be put in place for submersibles like this?
So do you think the company shouldn't be offering these sort of things?
No, I think there always needs to be people pushing the boundaries of what we can do and explore. So I think explorers, I think that's the nature, right? They want to push the boundaries of what is possible. And if people didn't do that, if the Wright brothers didn't do that, we wouldn't have air travel as it is today and everything, right? Yeah. But the moment you're accepting money from people to take them on tourist trips, where they're not like actual explorers, but they're tourists, right? Then I think that's where they probably need to be a bit more careful with and really be subject to some kind of external oversight.
I think it's also kind of like for Everest, people can plan trips to Everest.
Yeah.
There are probably some that are a bit more shady, but then it becomes a thing of who enforces the regulation.
Yeah.
Right, because with more regulation comes more paperwork and stuff like that. So I don't think this company is wrong to offer it. In fact, they've been in business quite a while and they seem to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate. It's just fucking unfortunate.
Yeah. But off the back of the whole recent debate about Tristen Yeak and MH370 and all that, is it like too early for anyone to be, making jokes about it or digging up all the profiles of these tourists or the CEO and all that? What do you think?
I think the same thing stands. Like, what are you making fun of? I think I wouldn't say a blanket no.
Okay.
Yeah, for you?
I mean, now everyone is watching and the whole world is watching and all that, right? So, if you make a joke now, whatever, it doesn't go very well. Then that's the consequences, right? But I think at this point, because everyone's still very hopeful, that they will somehow find the people. It might be worth just wait 24 hours before you tweet that joke or anything.
Have you seen a lot of jokes?
No, I haven't seen a lot of jokes, but I'm just saying hypothetically. How long is long enough, right? Because there are lives involved, there are families involved, there are hopes of a lot of people in the community pinned on that as well.
Yeah. And regardless of how rich, poor, anyone, it's still lives, right? Yeah. It's still lives. Like, it's a father and his son there.
Yeah.
So, by the time you hear this, there might already be some updates.
Yes.
Right.
Or the search might still be ongoing.
Yeah.
But just thinking about the Titanic itself, right?
Yeah.
Another point of irony, people are saying that, the ocean swallowed this giant ship full of, hundreds of people and everything. And then now they've taken this 20-foot submersible to the same site to look at the graves.
Yeah.
It's just, the whole thing is just, it does reek a little bit of some strange irony, right?
Yeah.
But and the submersible is called Titan. Yeah, the irony also wasn't lost there. It's like
but it has made journeys down and came up before.
Yeah.
And right now the reality is, because when some experts are saying what the crew must be experiencing, there's probably no power.
Yeah.
If it's on the ocean floor, it's fucking cold, so it'll be close to freezing.
Yeah.
There might be carbon dioxide poisoning. It just sounds fucking harrowing here.
Yeah.
Which I think some psychologists have explained why people are so transfixed, because you can almost imagine the feeling, and it's just like, oh fuck, this is terrible. It's not say you're in space, that one people haven't felt before.
Yeah.
But if you've gone in the water, and the water has always been this kind of wow, you go down deeper beyond a certain point, there's no light. Oh, it's scary as shit, man. Scary as shit.
There's a lot of interesting interviews out and about now with either people who have been in submersibles to Titanic, or even there was a deep sea diver who lost consciousness, I think at 300 meters or 300 feet or something, and was actually rescued with a few minutes left of oxygen. And I think in the 70s there was a submersible with 2 people inside that was also lost power and was stuck and was eventually hauled out of the ocean. They survived that.
Oh, is it?
But they were I think that was the one that they said they had 12 minutes of oxygen left. And you see the footage and the interviews, those people, they really just, apparently they just lay down to save, and not talk, to conserve energy. But the difference was that it was at, I think, 300 feet, or 300 meters or 300 feet. And it was really just, and they still had communication on the surface.
Oh.
Whereas this one, they really did not. They're really blind right now. The crazy thing is that they lost contact an hour and a half into the expedition.
Yeah.
But I think the ship on the surface essentially had to wait until 8 hours later, when they were supposed to surface, to officially declare that, we lost contact. Because you don't know, you see. That's the thing. I think it's so common for them to lose contact with the submersible that they can't officially declare that it's lost until it's 8 hours later when it's supposed to surface.
Damn, man.
Yeah. So that's the point that people are saying, is whoa, if it's so easy to lose contact with the surface,
why is it so easy?
Because apparently even finding their way to the Titanic, the communication is via text message. So on the surface there'd be a sonar or radar, and then they would be able to detect where the submersible is, and then they would tell it, they will text it, turn 30 degrees to your right.
Really?
And then they'll send us a text, and then it will go down as a text message to down there, then they will pilot accordingly.
What?
Yeah, so that's the level that they were operating at in terms of communications.
So there must be some technological limitation that prevents comms over thousands of feet of water.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, the question in my mind was then why didn't they just go down with a rope tied to the thing and then just submerge and then let it go? But I'm sure because it's the big wide ocean.
Because it's got currents, it goes here and there.
Yeah, and then it'll drag the boat down and everything. Then the ship itself has to become probably a huge
thing,
tanker or something. Yeah. But
fuck, so it's going out almost blind.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. So a lot of the people who set the submersible said that almost every trip there was some point where they lost contact with the surface.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So but at any point in time, I think there was some fail-safe that if there's technical issues, it would auto-surface.
Yeah.
But the thing is now probably it was major enough that it didn't.
Yeah. So I don't even know how that works. Because, you've been diving where you know all the things about the human's body, right? Once you go down to a certain depth, you kind of got to let the nitrogen get out of your system before you can surface. So I don't know how it works, but I'm guessing some kind of submersible also can't just shoot to the surface like this without some...
But it's pressurized.
It's pressurized. But in terms of the technology, being able to control a submersible just shooting to the surface.
Yeah, I think that one...
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Whew, which makes you think about James Cameron's journey to the depth of Mariana Trench. One of the passengers also has been down there, right?
Yeah, the billionaire as well.
Yeah, that's 27,000 feet or something.
Whew, wow, that's crazy, man.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
But this is like a documentary or a show writing itself right now.
Yeah, correct. But yeah, I mean, hopefully they come out alive.
Yeah.
Hopefully they come out alive, then the stories would probably be insane also.
Yeah.
But chala.
We'll keep an eye on this.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, we were talking earlier about big events in Singapore and Coldplay and everything. There is a big event going to be happening in Singapore very soon, an Olympic level event happening in Singapore. But it's either one or two things. Either you haven't heard about it, or you're then pissed off about it, right?
Yeah. Or maybe when you hear about it, then you become pissed off.
Yeah. So what is this event?
Incidentally, it also has Edwin Tong at the center.
Oh, yes. Edwin Tong.
So, it was late last year when Edwin Tong announced on Facebook that Singapore would host the first ever Olympic Esports Week in 2023. June.
Yeah.
So then there was apparently a statement that said that esports is not just about gaming.
Yeah.
So since then, I'm guessing there was chatter, but I only picked up on it when I saw this article, because apparently the esports event is more focused on virtual recreations of physical sports.
Yeah.
As opposed to esports games.
Yeah.
So the thing that are there is like virtual archery, virtual dancing, virtual sailing, and none of the games that come to mind when if you're interested in esports, you hear Valorant,
League of Legends,
Dota.
Legends.
There's nothing of that.
Yeah.
So then people are pissed off. They're saying, what the fuck? This is an esports event with no real esports program. But I can imagine on the government side, it's like, no, we meant like virtual sports.
Yeah. E-sports.
E-sports.
Electronic sports.
You got e-commerce. So an e-sports.
Yeah.
Right.
You used to send mail, now you send email.
Yeah.
So you used to play sports, now it's esports.
Yeah. You can imagine the chart in the government's office also. First we had email, then we had e-commerce. Yeah. Now we have esports.
But I mean, we say government, but actually this is sanctioned by the International Olympic Committee.
That is true
itself.
also. That is true.
So it's actually...
Oh yeah, it's actually more them. It's more them.
Branded and Olympic Esports competitions.
In March, they unveiled a lineup for Olympic Esports Weeks. Correct. It's not like, yes, it goes through the Singapore government, but it is organized by the IOC.
Yes, correct.
So people are pointing out, especially people in the gaming scene, because Singapore, we have mentioned we want to be an esports hub.
Yeah, that's right.
We recently won the joint gold medal at the SEA Games, and it is a industry that is growing.
Yep.
So it just feels like you're holding an esports event in Singapore, sanctioned by the International Olympic Committee, but it has none of the traditional esports games.
Yeah.
So then it just feels. So when you heard about this, you immediately went zero to pissed?
At first, no. Initially, I was like feeling very angry on behalf of people like Tristen, who are big fans of like Valorant esports and all that, and it's not even represented here, but I mean, the more I read about it, to be honest, actually, I kind of like I understand why they're doing this, and do I actually? It's not that bad a thing, to me. The more I read into it.
Why? What changed?
No, but how about you? Like, what you just from day one just want
to
whack? I saw you like Singapore government. Singapore government. No, it's not Singapore government. It's the International Olympic Committee.
No, I would say then the IOC. I think it just feels like the esports term is a term that has a very clear definition by the industry or the community itself.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about virtual recreations of physical sports, then call it a virtual sports event.
Yeah.
To kind of take the name esports and assign it to something that is not really esports, then it feels like it's just saying something that sounds cool.
Yeah. I mean, to define like what games specifically, right? Like we said, virtual archery. The game is tic-tac-bow. And I actually saw the videos, and at first I thought, okay, it's like Wii Sports, that kind of thing, where you physically hold a controller and then you actually mimic the action that you actually do in real life. But no, it's still a mobile game. So like when they say virtual archery, tic-tac-bow, you are using a mobile phone to control the archery, the bow and arrow and everything. So it's still like a mobile game. It's not like literally taking the physical action and then applying it to a virtual world, So a lot of these things like they had like WBSC, eBaseball, chess.com, Zwift, Just Dance, Virtual Regatta, Tennis Clash, Virtual Taekwondo. Some of them do require you to like do actions that you would in the sports, but some of them are really just mobile games, and probably very unpopular mobile games as well. Not even the top 25 mobile games for esports. So it's a bit confused the whole term, the whole event in terms of using the word esports. Like, is it like mobile gaming or like literal gaming esports, or is it like virtual representations of sport? Because, tic-tac-bow is not a virtual representation of what archery is. So I think that's where a lot of people are like, you say esports, but is it really esports?
But the goal of this is a physical event that people go, or they can participate online also? You can participate online, right?
No, it's a physical event, I believe. Because there are representatives from different countries, and Singapore is a team going there as well. That was unveiled not too long ago by alongside the SNOC, the Singapore National Olympic.
So, but then what made you feel a bit more like, you can understand why they're doing this, and you feel it's not as like shitty as you initially thought?
Because when just looking at some of the comments from the gaming community, I think there's a lot of ring fencing going on around what an esport is, right? Of course, right now it is dominated by certain games and certain platforms and everything. But there is, to their credit, there is Gran Turismo racing there, which is is both a virtual representation of a real sport, but it's also like gaming, right?
Yeah.
So that works. There's chess, right? Chess.com, obviously. Virtual Taekwondo, which is also a virtual representation of the sport. So there are these games that maybe are not as like the hardcore gamers don't play these games. But I would say a lot of people, the experience with gaming is with these more casual kind of gaming like I literally said Wii Sports, right? So are we going to stand here and say that's not esports because it's played by the masses and not as hardcore as the rest of them? Whereas what I see the IOC or Olympic Federation is doing is, okay, we have this traditional every 4 years, since the beginning of time, and then we have this traditional competition called the Olympics, where it's just basically physical sports. And then there's a whole bunch of younger people who, they are very into the gaming world, whether it's casual gamers or console gamers, whatever. And they're trying to bring those two worlds closer together. Like, you can experience what's it like to, be a taekwondo competitor with being a gamer and everything as well. So do we begrudge those people who consider that an e-sport,
Oh, so you can imagine for them, we have all these physical sports.
Yeah.
We want to connect with the digital generation. Let's find virtual equivalents.
Yeah.
Because I was also thinking, you mentioned Gran Turismo as part of it. I was like, hey, actually that's famous. How come that is part of it? But because it's still about racing, which you can argue there's a certain competitive thing that is closer to Olympics and say like shooting each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but then it still feels like the term, when you said like, maybe it's just the hardcore esports people who feel like this is not an esport. It's like, you know, filmmakers who look at someone on YouTube, they're like, you're not a filmmaker.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a YouTuber. You shut the fuck up. Okay? You can make a film, but as long as you put it on YouTube. Because last time I remember there were some people who told us, when we were hiring or something, I said, oh, so you make short films, where do you upload your short films? Vimeo. I was like, oh, why not YouTube? Why Vimeo only? They're like, oh, YouTube just has cats and dogs videos. You know, Vimeo is for the filmmaker. In my mind, I was like, you shut the fuck up, lah. Okay, who the fuck watches Vimeo? Right. And it is that kind of like the purist, lah.
Correct. Yeah. So that's where I'm coming from. Like, I play FIFA also, so I would love to, you know, I would love to have seen like FIFA players here and all that. But does it mean that someone who doesn't play FIFA and plays like virtual regatta, is there any less of a gamer or any less of a e-sport, you know, because it's not as popular or maybe not as technical as like, you know, a FIFA player or anything like that. So that's where I like, okay, I mean, esports is very new. Everyone's still trying to define it. How come one group seems to be more adamant that our definition is correct than the other group, right?
Literally, like if you look at Wikipedia, esports, short for electronic sports, is a form of competition using video games.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it, yeah.
That is it. Because it's been around since apparently, like the earliest known video game competition took place in 1972.
Yeah.
For the game Space War.
Yeah.
And that's esports.
Correct, yeah.
Oh, so it's more like the certain segment. So probably any gamers, hardcore gamers hearing this, you're like, hey, you all don't know shit, you know?
Yeah.
There's a certain esport that means what there's a certain games that means what esports is like. Because Street Fighter will also be there, right?
Street Fighter will be there. NBA, I think 2K will also be there. So yeah, there are representations of sports that you know, that are very competitive, right? There are competitions for NBA 2K, competitions of Gran Turismo. I'll admit I didn't know Just Dance had competitions as well, but apparently it has, you know.
Yeah.
It's not just a game that you play while drunk at friends' parties and all. So these can be competitive, and if they're competitive to that smaller group of people, maybe smaller than those who play League of Legends or Valorant, who is it? Who is the authority to say that those are not esports? If the Olympic Committee comes out and says it, but obviously, you know, there's also probably money considerations for the Olympic Committee. But I'm just saying, like, why, you know, for the people who are just trying to enjoy some of these sports, you know, I might be wrong, and there might be a huge group of people who play Just Dance competitively.
Yeah.
So who are we to say that that's less of an e-sport than, you know, League of Legends?
So I think it comes down to the definition, because like, even looking at a Wikipedia article, like 106 million people viewed the 2017 World Esports competition. But that label was assigned to the League of Legends World Championship in 2017.
Yeah.
So it becomes like, okay, then what is an esport? Certain groups can't just say, everything we do is esports. If you're a game, you think of something else.
Yeah.
Also, it's a terminology, lah.
Yeah, it's terminology. And if it's the point is to try and make you know, bring those two worlds together, the physical sports and the gaming world together.
Because
what's wrong? Yeah, what's wrong with that effort, lah?
And this is the inaugural Olympic Esports week, no?
Yeah.
The first time it's being done. And literally, if you look online, they say games featured at the event will include tic-tac-toe, bracket, archery.
Yeah.
It's not NBA, it's WBSC baseball. Oh,
baseball. Yeah,
baseball. Baseball, then chess, then Zwift, which is cycling, virtual regatta, e-sailing. Fortnite apparently is inside.
I think what they are going to do is they're going to recreate a shooting competition in the world of Fortnite. So that people who play Fortnite can, you know, try their hand at joining this shooting competition that kind of replicates what the actual shooting competition is, lah.
I see.
So they're bringing all these people, these young people who play Fortnite as well, into this.
So you're saying the gaming community is sensitive, is it?
I think there's a lot of like ring fencing going on about people trying to define and say this is our turf, don't come here. When actually it's not that well defined yet, lah. It's the truth.
Because we have Kana last time, like, you are not filmmakers, lah. You all are YouTubers.
Yeah.
You all are not TV showrunners. You're YouTubers, all right? Let's be real. You all are YouTubers.
Yeah.
Basket.
So it's that area of like people feeling that their rice bowl is being threatened, and then they're trying to set ring fences around it.
So I think it is probably something for the IOC and even the Singapore government to understand, okay, these sort of things, how you say, then it becomes a thing of how you deliver the news, how you package things.
Yeah. So maybe, that term esports
needs to be
if
updated. Needs to be updated.
Or they need to come to some kind of agreement.
Game sports and esports.
Yeah, gaming and esports. Like, is it esports is the larger circle that gaming is part of, or is gaming basically esports? Right?
Yeah, exactly. What is the hierarchy? Because you never hear people say, you hear people say, yeah, I'm a gamer. People say, I'm an esportsman.
Like, what are you going to do later after you finish work? Just go home and esports. Nobody says that, right? Tristan, sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, Tristan. Do people use that language?
Esport,
No, they
what
don't.
Sport you play?
Esports.
Esports. Oh, okay.
What do you do for fun? Oh, yeah, esport.
Yeah, any kind of esports, I'm down. Any kind of esports.
You say game, right? You game, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's why the more I read it, the more I was like, what's wrong with it being these particular games? Of course, it's a strange mix of games and a lot of people don't know about. But if IOC is putting their money behind it and they're doing an event, and there seems to be a big enough community for them to want to do something, then go ahead and do it.
So then I think Singapore needs to be clearer. You want to be esports hub, but what kind of esports? Because this is inaugural. It's the first time it's ever being done. It's being done in Singapore, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But then, what kind of esports?
Yeah. Because don't forget, like 2 weeks ago, Apple Vision Pro was announced and not virtual reality, but augmented reality is a big part of it. And I'm sure gaming will be a very big component of that as well, right? So all this, the kind of esports that will come out of the, virtual reality or augmented reality ecosystem, will continue to be redefined over the next few years. And who is it to say that only League of Legends or only Call of Duty or what can be?
I mean, last time
esports?
Also there was that same debate, right? I don't know whether it was bowling or golf before it became an Olympic thing. People are saying bowling's not a sport,
Yeah.
Right.
Floorball.
Floorball. Yeah. Hello. You don't play. You don't get physical. You don't sweat. Is not a sport. But at the same time, like, okay then are you single-handedly defining what a sport is,
Yeah.
Like lawn bowling. Lawn bowling always gets a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Like, exactly. Because you be a lawn bowler, you can be a sportsman till you're like 70s. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Right.
So if the Olympic Committee is doing it and there's a competition around it, like, okay then.
I mean, Olympic Committee also got its fair share of controversies, right?
Yeah.
Interesting,
Yeah. So will you be checking out Olympic Esports week?
Actually, I wouldn't mind, yeah. When is it?
This weekend, I think.
From today?
Yeah, this weekend.
From today till Sunday.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Go and try your hands out at chess.com or Swift or Just Dance.
Nice, man.
Clash.
Sweet.
Yeah. That's cool.
Cool, man.
Yes.
So now it's time for the one Shiok comment of the past week.
Yeah. What is your one Shiok comment of the past week? There's been a lot, yeah. That's what I'll say.
You have any to
yeah, of course. I think I think on our subreddit there's been a lot of people putting up a lot of suggesting a lot of different topics to come up on our podcast, and we've just been catching up with all these topics as well. So I think recently that the one that a lot of people are talking about, or at least on our subreddit, was the fair price counting on shoppers' honesty at self-checkout counters when plastic bag charges start. In July 3rd, apparently, they're going to have to start paying for plastic bags at fair price, and it'll be an honor system going on. So that has triggered quite a bit of a discussion even on our own subreddit about it, about whether they'll be paying this surcharge, So yeah, I thought it was awesome that the community itself is having their own little yalla butt. They're doing their own little yalla butt thing going on in the subreddit. And so kudos to you guys for suggesting these topics, and just also, even if we don't get to talk about it on our podcast, people are
debating already.
Yeah, debating. That's right.
Okay. My one was just one comment about, I think it was from Joker on Earth. The subreddit for the last podcast, where I think I was bitching about how, like, fucking these concerts, 6 times and all, and Taylor Swift. Then apparently, Jackie Cheung is adding a total of 9 shows throughout the month of July.
Is that verified? Like 100% already?
I don't know.
Yeah.
9 shows,
Yeah. Pretty crazy, yeah.
9 shows? What the hell?
It's kind of strange. Like, I remember 20, 30 years ago, like when we were younger and all these things.
Oh, yeah, so it's confirmed it's 9.
Yeah.
He sold out for 6 nights, and then there's another 3.
But yeah, you think about 20 years ago, like, you could barely, I mean, not say barely, but it was very rare to get, like, huge international acts to come to Singapore, right?
Yeah.
And if they come, it'd be, like, once every 10 years or something. Now it's like they come and they're here for a fucking week, man.
I think that's the thing. Yeah. Last time, maybe you asked, hey, you going for Michael Jackson concert?
Oh, yeah.
They're like, yes. And okay, it's either the same day or 2 days. Yeah. Now you have to ask, are you going for the first Monday or the second Monday?
Yeah.
What kind of... Like honestly, like Coldplay is 3 days, then they got 2-day break.
Yeah.
Then another 2.
Yeah.
Then 2-day break. Then
and then they're going to be like, in between, they're going to be visiting they're going to be touring Singapore, going to the zoo, visiting the infinity pool.
It just feels like...
It's almost like it's like, almost like a diplomatic tour of the country or something that they're doing, right? Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Funny, yeah.
Then they'll appear on someone's podcast. Or like...
Yeah. Chris Martin, please. We come and debate about how you fractured Singapore society with your decisions.
I mean, if we can get Chris Martin or Taylor Swift on our podcast, that'd be dope.
Yeah.
That would be a benefit of doing 6 shows over a week.
Yes.
Oh, 9 shows. Oh, so then now it's another sell for artists. You come to one country, you make like a shit ton of revenue.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about the logistics of different countries.
Yeah, you don't have to move around. Yeah. And if you like Singapore, you like the weather, you like the food, fucking great, right? It's
Next thing we know, Chris Martin buying GCB. Confirm. Chris Martin, Taylor Swift buying GCB.
He'll be hanging out with the Hai Di Lao boss.
Yeah, that's right.
Eating Hai Di Lao.
Walao. Cool, man. Okay, and then what about your one Shiok thing for the last few days?
Actually, my one Shiok thing is a podcast video of someone that I've spoken about before, Richard Dawkins, the author and professor who wrote The God Delusion and is a very well-known atheist and thinker. He basically went on a podcast, I think it was called Unheard, like heard as in HERD podcast, where the title of the video that I watched was What I Got Wrong About COVID. So it's basically Richard Dawkins coming to terms with I think he made a lot of comments about the COVID vaccine and anti-vaxxers and all that early in the days. He made these comments on Twitter. And in this video, you see him backtracking on certain things that he said about the vaccine. And so I thought it's quite interesting because in this day and age where people, they double down on their theories or they double down on what they think is correct and all that, to see someone, as esteemed as Richard Dawkins himself, say that, that he may have gotten certain things wrong and just based on the information at the time.
Is it?
Not that much wrong, but more in the sense that should he have taken such a hard stance against the anti-vaxxers and everything. He backtracks a little bit on that. So I thought that was a pretty interesting exchange, this whole video, this 7.5 minute video.
Oh, really? Because I remember reading his book, The God Delusion.
Yes.
And I didn't finish it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a bit...
This was like before you got married or after?
Before. Why you have to bring that up? It was just my own personal curiosity. Okay.
I thought you, after marriage, you were reading it for ammunition or something.
Before every Sunday. Okay, what new book am I going to read? No.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
No, because he has very strong opinions about these things, right? So you would imagine someone like that, like doubling down or not backtracking.
Yeah.
But he does a bit of like self-reflection in this video as well. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so my one Shiok thing was a recent thing I saw about. There's some new paper that was released by Nanograv which looks at the gravitational wave astronomy.
Okay.
Which is a new sector of astronomy, I believe, as of a few years ago.
Okay.
And there's all these new theories coming out about supermassive black holes.
Oh.
Because there's a few animations that kind of show how big the biggest black holes are in the universe. And they are... Because my thought always is that black hole is it's super concentrated, so it'll be like smaller than the sun, but then the gravitational pull around it is very strong.
Yeah.
But some animations show black holes that are like thousands of times bigger than the Milky Way. So then there's all this talk about whether Earth could be in a black hole and all this other stuff. So I mean, there's a bunch of stuff my one Shiok thing will probably be this one animation that shows the size of a black hole. Okay. But wow, it's freaking interesting, man.
They do animations.
Yeah, they do. It's like the kind you start off on Earth and then you zoom out and then they show the solar system and then they show the biggest black hole they've detected and it's huge.
Those are always very enjoyable.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Like now this whole submersible thing. You don't understand the depth of it until they show you like, this is what the height of the Empire State Building, and 9 times of that is the depth.
That's how far deep they are.
Because you tell 12,000 feet, I'm like, okay, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
But 9
times
Empire State.
Mariana Trench is like Mount Everest.
Wow, that's insane.
But then also you don't understand how tall Mount Everest is unless you put it next to the Empire State Building or something. Then you can understand.
Oh crap! Yeah,
it's crazy.
Scary.
Crazy, man. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Peace.